I don't even know where to start because this has been sitting in my chest for years, and I've only now realized how much it actually broke me. I used to think I was just being dramatic, that I should let it go like my mom always said. But now, at 28, I can't ignore how much it shaped the way I see family, love, and self-worth. When I was 18, I got into college. A good one, not Ivy League, but solid and something I was proud of. I'd worked my ass off, kept my grades up, did all the extracurriculars, and even took a part-time job during senior year to save for dorm stuff. My parents always told me, "We'll handle tuition, don't worry about that. Focus on school." I believed them. I trusted them completely because, well, they were my parents. My sister, Emily, is 3 years younger than me. She was the golden child, even back then. The one who got her way, who had my mom wrapped around her finger. I loved her, still do, in a distant kind of way, but the favoritism wasn't subtle. When she wanted a new iPhone, she got it. When I wanted to join a photography class that cost $50, my mom said, "You should be grateful for what you already have." Still, I try not to let it bother me too much. I thought once I went off to college, things would even out. Spoiler, they didn't. About a month before my freshman year was supposed to start, I got an email from the university's financial office saying my tuition hadn't been paid. I was confused. My parents had said they'd taken care of it. I remember walking into the kitchen that night while my mom was cooking and my dad was scrolling through his phone. I showed them the email, expecting it to be some kind of mistake. They looked at each other. My mom said, "Honey, we thought you were going to take out loans." I felt my stomach drop.
What?
"You said you'd handle tuition. That's what you told me." My dad sighed, like I was being unreasonable. "We can't just pull money out of nowhere. College is expensive.
You're an adult now.
It's time to take responsibility." I was speechless. My entire plan for the next 4 years shattered in that moment. They'd had months to tell me, and instead they waited until the last possible minute. I cried that night, the kind of ugly crying that hurts your chest. I ended up taking out student loans on my own, working 2 part-time jobs, and skipping meals to stretch my money. I didn't even have enough for books that first semester. I borrowed from the library or found PDFs online. Meanwhile, my parents never once apologized. They called it a learning experience. My mom would tell her friends how independent I was, as if they'd raised me to be resilient instead of cornering me into survival mode. Fast forward 3 years. I was in my junior year, exhausted but managing. Then one day, I got a call from my mom. She sounded frantic, but not in a bad way, more like excited. "We need to talk about Emily's tuition," she said. I asked what she meant, and she said, "She got into NYU. Isn't that amazing?"
It was.
I was genuinely happy for Emily until she said, "We're figuring out how to cover her tuition. It's around $60,000 a year, but your dad, and I think we can make it work." My mouth literally dropped open. "You're paying for her college?" "Well, of course," she said, like it was obvious. "It's her dream school. We'll move some investments around." I didn't say much. I just said congratulations and hung up. Then I sat on my dorm floor and stared at my laptop for a long time. I kept thinking about the nights I stayed up working till 2 a.m., the credit card debt I'd accumulated, the ramen dinners, the panic attacks before exams. And my parents were just paying $60,000 a year for my sister, like it was nothing. A few months later, they posted photos on Facebook, my parents in France. Eiffel Tower selfies, wine glasses, cheese boards, captions like, "Finally living our dream." I remember looking at those pictures while I was eating dollar store instant noodles. They were literally vacationing in France while I was skipping meals to keep up with tuition they couldn't afford. That's when something inside me broke. Not in an explosive way, but like a slow, quiet snapping of something I didn't even realize had been holding me together. I stopped calling as often. I stopped answering their texts unless it was necessary. I told myself it wasn't out of spite, but I know part of it was. Every time they sent a "we miss you" text, I'd think about those France photos. Every time Emily called to brag about NYU life, her apartment, her new friends, her weekend trips, I'd smile on the phone and then go cry in the shower. The worst part? My parents acted like nothing was wrong. They visited me once, my senior year, and my dad had the nerve to say, "You turned out fine without our help."
See?
We knew you could do it. No, I didn't turn out fine. I developed chronic anxiety. I still flinch when I check my bank account. I still feel guilty spending money on anything that isn't essential. But sure, I turned out fine. The climax, the breaking point, came a few years after graduation. I'd finally gotten a decent job, was slowly paying off my loans, and trying to build a stable life. Then, out of nowhere, my mom called. "We need a little help," she said. "Your dad's hours got cut, and Emily's last semester tuition is due. Could you maybe help us with a few $1,000s?" I swear, my vision went red for a second. I asked, "You're asking me for money? After everything?" My mom's voice softened. "Honey, family helps family." I laughed. I actually laughed. Did family help me when I was drowning in debt? When I couldn't even afford groceries? She got defensive, said I was being ungrateful and holding on to the past. I told her I wasn't holding on to it. I was still living with the consequences of it. Then I told her no. Flat out. That was the first time I ever said no to my parents. It felt both terrifying and freeing. She hung up without saying goodbye. We didn't speak for months. Then Emily texted me, saying she didn't understand why I was being so cold. She said Mom cried after our call and that it's not a big deal. Asked her if she knew they'd never paid a dime for my tuition. She said, "Well, that's different. You got scholarships." I didn't even respond. I just blocked her number. A year later, I got invited to Emily's graduation party. My parents sent a long, guilt-trippy email about putting the past behind us.
I didn't go.
I spent that day hiking alone, somewhere quiet where my phone had no signal. It was the first time I felt real peace in a long time. Since then, I've kept my distance. They still try to contact me sometimes. Birthdays, holidays, half-hearted "we miss you" messages. I respond politely, but the truth is, that bond is gone. You can't rebuild trust on top of years of neglect and favoritism. I've had people tell me I should forgive them, that they did their best. Maybe they did. But their best left me broken, broke, and emotionally detached. Their best funded luxury vacations and $60,000 tuition for my sister, while I scraped by alone. Sometimes I wonder if they even realize what they did, or if they just tell themselves a story where they're the supportive parents and I'm the ungrateful child. Maybe that's easier for them. But for me, I've stopped needing their version of love. I've built my own life, my own peace, my own version of family with people who actually show up when it matters. And maybe that's enough. But every now and then I still see photos of them traveling Italy, Greece, Spain.